because this is kind of cool. But this gets deadly so quickly that you're right. It is one of those things that like, fuck the curiosity of the cameras. Let's get the hell on out of here.
And you know, it takes a while. Again, there's things that they don't appeal to me. I mean, I can't be fair and say I'm not scared of these kind of movies, because I'm not. But this one actually was the one that made me realize what is scary about it. But it still suffers from what the other two do, which is that it takes a while to get revved up.
Wow.
Yeah, it always does. I mean, you can look, and it seems like it's even more boring in some parts because the camera moves.
With that movie, because you're just like, will you hurry up and go back to the other thing?
They have a camera on a fan, as we mentioned before, and it goes, you know, it pans from the left and pans to the right, and I'm almost thinking like, man, you know, it's like watching a tennis match with nobody there.
But the thing is, they use that a lot.
Yeah.
And it only pays off really twice. There's only two sequences where it's like, wow, that was fucking actually pretty goddamn scary. Especially the second time, which was for me the highlight scene of the entire
But when
film.
it happens, when it actually kicks into full effect, it is good. And I think that this also, it has a little bit more humor in it, which is what I always think. That's what I thought. What was the strength of the last movie? Even though I don't think it was as good. And a lot of it, I'm going to see the actor right here, Christopher Nicholas Smith, and the mom in the movie, Lauren Bittner, especially the guy. You know, we're talking about how likable he is. That guy, he really is, and you do like him. And it also, you know something bad is going to happen to him, and I'm just like, at the beginning of the movie, well, I'm like, wow, man, I really like you, but
you know, or he would have been in the other movies.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, this is your ass, man. Nice knowing you. Goodbye.
Well, that's one of the things that's a huge difference with this movie for me than the other ones, because in the other two movies, I hated everybody. They just couldn't die soon enough. It's like, wow, I would hold 90 minutes to kill them off.
Man, you are the ghost in Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, that's why I like those movies, because I wanted to do that. But with here, I actually did like the people, and I was like, damn, I'm actually sad knowing that it's not going to work out well.
You almost want I wish I knew the guy who played the videographer's friend. I thought he was the high point. That's how we would react in a situation, because there's a great situation involving him and one of the little girls. And honestly, it's my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, it was,
because it's like, it's effective to what it needs to do. And it does it in such a good way that you wish there was more of it in the film. Because like I said, I mean, it ends up going in the same direction as the last two after a while. And I always think of these movies as like, okay, these movies are nothing but Where's Waldo's Ghost? Because
absolutely.
Because you're just sitting there, you're waiting, and you become that camera where you're like, fuck, it sucks to be a VHS camera. Because I'm just waiting for something to happen.
That's the key to why it works. It's for audiences, because it's like those internet sites where they go, look closely at this picture and see if you can tell what's different. And whenever you see one of those now, we're jaded enough that we're like, yeah, in like 30 seconds, something's going to go on the screen. Yeah. But you sit and watch that shit anyway. But you want to see what that shit's going to look like. And every time you go, you do a little jump, you know it's coming. This is the movie series of that.
Yeah. that actor's name is Dustin Ingram, by the way.
Okay. I thought he was great.
Yeah, but that does work to a certain extent as long as they keep you entertained. And unlike the first one, which like I said, I liked because it was something I hadn't seen before, but it was nothing I would go back and watch again. Yeah. I was like, because it's so slow. Nothing fucking happens in that movie. And then the second one, you're like, okay, here's a little bit more, but still exact same movie. This one, at least, it changes stuff up a lot. Yeah. It's got a lot more dynamic camera stuff going on in it. It's got a lot more of it. Shit going on in the last third of it, but once again, you're still going to sit through 40 minutes of almost nothing fucking happening.
Yeah, and you know it's funny because that's the part that I got to agree with you. I'm sorry, that's the part I liked the most. Yeah. I thought that's what separated this from any of the other movies. And listen, I mean, I can let it slide too because I've seen it all before, but it's an effective ghost story for the people that are going to see it, especially during that time of the season. And I think this is. I've always admired this series for being able to just do more with less. And I love these ghost stories where they just play around with sound and shadows and creepy images, and there's no blood in this. There's no real obvious CG effects. I mean, for the most part, it's all cheap, but it scares the shit out of some people because it looks real too.
Yeah, a lot of it's effectively creepy. There's stuff that's just, you get that, oh, now that's wrong stuff. That shit ain't supposed to bend that way. You're like, oh, dude, that's fucked up.
When you get possessed by a demon, you become a flexible motherfucker, man. You might as well just go do gymnastics.
Well, I have to admit, part of the fun watching these movies is the audience. I mean, you feed off them especially when they're girls, and there was plenty of girls in there screaming their heads off and going, oh my God, don't do that. Shit like that, where it's like, it's very effective in a very haunted house way. But
Yeah, no, the girls, there was a guy sitting next to me.
I did not.
Yeah, you did not. It was a guy sitting next to me, and the brother came in like, seriously, he came in like, is that my seat right there? Yeah, sat down. Yeah. And by like near the end of the movie, I felt something vibrate, and it was his legs, and he was sitting up there, and I even heard him. He was like, ow. He made that actual sound. That brother he wasn't hard no more.
Oh, you feel something wet and warm.
That brother was shaking, man.
Just pissed his pants.
Yeah.
Black people do not like ghosts.
No.
It's just a thing. You're like, fuck that.
Because ghosts look too much like Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah, okay. It all makes sense.
Yeah. There was a moment in this movie where it was a moving sheet, and we did not think supernatural spirits. We thought that's a midget racist right there. And that's scarier than anything else I've seen as far as ghosts go. Yeah, man. Look, you're right. I mean, this we've seen this over and over again, but we see the same thing in so many movies. Like I said, does it do what it's trying to do effectively? It can hide those things that it is repeating or mimicking or copying or just not being innovative about. And I think this movie does, man. What it does what the last two movies are trying to do a whole lot better. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I think the reason why this one probably seems a little better as far as the creepiness of it is because it's directed by those guys who did Catfish. Henry Joost and Ariel Schulman, yeah, they got those guys to direct it. And
finally made a real horror movie as opposed to the one that was supposed to be a horror
fake
movie.
one, yeah. But you know what? That was my biggest compliment to Catfish. Even though it wasn't a horror film, it felt like a creepy horror film.
Oh yeah,
before.
just watch the first 15 minutes of that movie, and you were genuinely scared. Like you're telling those guys, don't go over there.
Don't go. Yeah, don't you do that? Don't do that. Yeah, and that was a wise decision to bring those guys over on this end because the other two I could laugh at. With this one, man, did you see me?
Yes, I did.
There was a point where I was falling asleep. It was one of those moments where it was doing the panning left and right. The guy was just wandering around the room with that camera in his hand, and I was asleep. And something said, "Shoom!" And I was like, "I'm awake." Should I have my backpack packed? I was ready to go to school.
Toby put his hand on your shoulder. You better watch my movie.
Yeah, Toby slapping the back of the head. Wake up!
I'm standing next to you. Did you see that? The readings were off the scale. This is amazing. We got to call in a female midget on this one.
Yeah, man, that last part, it creeped me out. But nothing I'm gonna go home and like lose sleep over. But if you are a fan of this series, especially if you say you like the second one, this one is the best one by far, and I think this will be your favorite. This will be your favorite too. Because I said so. I give it a low matinee.
These movies are not my thing, and even though I can certainly echo your sentiment that this one is the best of those three, it's still like the cheap jump scares. I just don't dig that, and how formulaic it is. Like, oh, the scene's quiet. That means it's time to focus and look for where the ghost is going to pop out. And there's the negative space, so I figure it's going to be there. And having the audience scream is almost kind of annoying at times. I mean, it might start as fun, and then some of it's like, come on, you guys, don't fall for every last little one they do.
You only know it because they kept waking you up.
Yeah, I'm like trying to get some sleep over here. But all that said, like I said, it was not a displeasurable experience in as much as, I like the characters this time. They actually fleshed out the story and gave me a reason, whereas before it's just like, this happens because it did. Where this is more like, all right, now I'm seeing the origin of this, and it works for me. I think the movie, like I say, it's getting so much more like a movie and not the cinema verite found footage, that it's almost like it's hamstringing itself. Like it's so trying to do one or the other, and it keeps getting handicapped by that. And it's almost like it's sometimes, like Coho says, compared to Poltergeist, it's almost like a Poltergeist or Rosemary's Baby, where they just don't have a script or a real camera crew. And on that way, it's like, man, it's sort of winning, but not quite. But it's effective for what it's trying to do and for that audience. And like, I can appreciate, hey, it's not my thing, but for the people it is, I think they'll love it. And I'm kind of right there with you, a low matinee.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a matinee too. I mean, as much as I had a problem with that ending, I like what they did so much before that with the subtlety of it all, that when it got into, okay, now let's just show everything, especially something I've already seen before, where I was like, that just seemed kind of lazy to me. But that doesn't mean that the beginning of the movie isn't effective at all, because it is. It is fun. I mean, I was sitting there waiting to just not like it really, because I am getting a little tired of this premise. But I have to give some credit for a director that can get that timing right, just to scare you at the right moment to where it's genuine. So yeah, I mean, people are going to eat they're going to eat this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing the fucking parking lot, 2 parking lots filled with cars to see this. I mean, you got to be crazy to think that this isn't going to make money. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where this series goes on down the road. If because I have no idea how they're going to make this work after 5-6 movies down the road.
Yeah, how many times do you keep videotaping shit?
Exactly. Yeah, I know. It's just like you're going to end up on the fucking moon, and they already did that.
That's right.
But it's full on matinee.
It's funny how far a little dynamic camera work and much more likable characters can go into keeping, well, at least me awake throughout a film. I mean, that being said, I'm still at that point. I'm like, guys, it is so cheap for you to do this kind of film. Even if you had more of the type of stuff that's going on in the last 30 minutes of this going on through the whole movie, it still wouldn't cost you that much more to make it. Yeah. It's like, haven't we seen enough of the first half of your film just being us looking like you said, Leon, for the negative space, waiting for like the door to slightly creak open or a painting to fall off the wall, so the girls in the audience can go, ah! You go, I was sleeping. What the fuck? But that being said, like, they are getting a lot better, and this is definitely the best of the 3. I mean, I the only thing I can picture for the next one is going to be like maybe some, like, because everyone's dead from like the other ones, right? I mean,
except for, well, I don't want to spoil anything,
but like the only thing I can think of is like paranormal investigators showing up to like investigate the house or something in the next one. And if you do that, fuck it, man, just go with it right out. It's like, we're trying to find this girl, we're looking at this house, oh fuck, oh, we're fucked now.
Yeah.
Zelda Rubinstein's dead, but what are you going to do? But it's a matinee, and I think that for the crowds that even mildly liked either one of the other ones, they're going to fucking go, no, this is the one to see.
Yeah, maybe they'll finally get to the point they keep making them, and it'll be like a hologram movie. It'll be like the holodeck on Star Trek. You actually, the ghost or Toby, whatever his name, he actually does come up to the audience and slaps the shit out of every person that's around, pushes people.
I want it to be William Shatner, though.
I wonder how long it's going to be before Toby starts to speak through somebody, and then the next evolution where he starts cracking jokes like Freddy Krueger.
Or they'll just they'll have like the little closet, like in reality shows, that Toby can go in there. It's like, man, can you believe this bitch? Can you see that shit?
Oh, and I have to tell people, if you watch that trailer that's out there right now, half of what you see in that trailer is not in the movie.
100%. In fact, they're alternate versions of scenes in the film. Like the most famous scene from that trailer, like for the first trailer they put out, like, there's a completely different, with different characters, version of that scene that is what happens in the movie.
Yeah, because when they did that, I was like, wait, are they going to have that other scene in here too?
It's like, I've never seen anything.
You're waiting on that.
And you know what? And that's the thing that disappointed me, because if you watch that trailer that's out right now, it's almost like that ghost is pimping people, he's I mean, men and women. He's like, bitch, where's my money? He's just he's slamming people's heads on the table and pulling bitches by their hair. Bitch, where's my money? That's what I wanted to see. I want to see Toby the ghost pimping.
Pimp activity.
hustle and flow with the ghost.
This is not simply about Kristen. This is connected to your side of the family.
He definitely knows about her.
Katie?
I'm worried about you and the girls.
Somebody say something!
I felt it digging in my side.
Did you hear that?
It's okay.
It was scared.
Girls!
We're getting out of here. Just get in the car and drive.